Hi, friends, and welcome to the Coach Casey channel for podcasts that help us all become better people. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast, and also please join us on YouTube at the Coach Casey channel, where you'll always find weekly great content. So let's go. Today we're going to take a dive into a concept called magical thinking, which has actually nothing to do with magicians. It has to do with a frame of mind that we get into whenever we're trying to solve problems and issues. So let's start at the beginning by saying that in psychology, magical thinking is associated with a cognitive process where an individual believes that their thoughts or actions can influence the outcome of events in a way that defies the law of physics or causality. You know, you'll see it in superstitions, rituals, beliefs, and omens or supernatural forces. You know, you even see it in American sports where athletes will invoke the sign of the cross, cross themselves before batting or after catching a football. In the end zone, they celebrate by pointing upwards, which I guess implies thank you to the higher power, okay? Magical thinking is not just in psychology, sociology, business management, all these types of professional fields kind of take a look at it, because magical thinking, while it can be a constructive force in our lives, such as prayer, meditation, mindfulness, can often fool us into thinking that somehow the cosmos is going to align itself and fix our personal, professional, or peace problems. And I don't mean to offend anybody, but we always heard the term pray for peace, and so what has that gotten us so far? Not to be a skeptic again. But let's see what we can do now in actions that will recognize and fix this thoughts of magical thinking, okay? Recognizing magical thinking is the first step towards grounding ourselves and our actions in reality. You know, you have to balance your hope and optimism with practicality and action, okay? Becoming a peaceful person is an action plan. Praying for peace can be magical thinking. Again, not to offend anybody or be controversial. I'm just saying integrating the concepts of peace in your life one step at a time is going to at least create a peaceful environment for yourself, your family, your business career, and whatnot. Magical thinking also obstructs your ability to think clearly and effectively for making decisions. You may have a hard choice about relocating, retiring, changing jobs, getting engaged, or whatever. And magical thinking that some outside power or somehow the cosmos is going to align to help you, that could end up in regrets years later, okay? So stick with me so far, okay? Let's talk a little bit more about magical thinking, and now that we understand what it is. If you're a business person, magical thinking can be more consequential to your business. It might show itself as a, boy, oh boy, this project's going to turn itself around just because I believe it will. And you ignore the red flags and the data that suggests otherwise. You can miss deadlines. You can suffer financial losses, particularly into the stock market, where you think and cross your fingers like the Powerball lottery of stocks that you're going to be the billionaire the next morning, when the odds are substantially against you. So what do you do if you find yourself or someone significant to you engaging in too much magical thinking? How do you start? What do you do to correct that? So you have to surround yourself with a culture of critical, logical thinking. And I don't mean to be Spock from Star Trek. What I mean is that in all of our lives and businesses, we need to follow a process. We need to be able to set priorities. We have to decide on action plans and milestones, okay? It's got nothing to do with taking a look at hope and optimism and saying that you shouldn't feel that. It's like putting gasoline in the car of your life. Your car is your hope. Your gasoline is your process on what you're doing, okay? So let's try something. What I suggest that you do is you take your issue that's in front of your life, whether it's saving for your kids' scholarship funds or overcoming some medical conditions, and start to journal your decisions. See, self-awareness is an important part in self-growth. So journaling helps you create a quick diary of looking at yourself as a third person and saying, how am I thinking? Am I backing up my thoughts with actions or not? And what did I do a week ago? And, do I see any progress in what I'm doing? This next one's kind of hard because we all fall victim to this, and that's challenging your beliefs. Don't hesitate to seek guidance from other people if you don't trust your own feelings and emotions, okay? I mean, you can construct an idea in your mind and stick to it stubbornly, but if it's not working, you got to have somebody else to guide you along. Let me give you a real simple farm example, okay? Horses go into barns, right? Horses know that those barns are their homes. So they start to think in a construct in their brain that says barn equals food and safety, protection from the weather. Beautiful climate for me as a horse. Now the barn catches on fire. The owner takes the horse out of the barn, but what does the horse do? It runs back into the barn because it can't recognize the dangers of its thinking. So don't be a horse in a barn with your life, okay? Hey, look, there's a lot more to this that I can't cover on this podcast, but I hope that at least starts you to recognize the fact that meditation and mindfulness and prayer are excellent tools for reducing stress, creating a positive mindfulness in yourself, but it's action, it's planning, and it's a process that eventually will dissipate the amount of magical thinking you do. And I hate to say this, but like magic, you'll get better results. Hey, thanks for listening. Don't forget to tune into this podcast. Check out the YouTube channel. Watch some of our videos. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the YouTube comment section. Thanks for listening. Onward into our next podcast. See you in the future.